I feel like you and I have never talked about how weird the up and down intro song is, and we've had it for so many seasons now. Come closer to me, I can feel your breath.
Yeah, well,
Thanks
for the offer, but I think I have to decline, Wolf. We're not there yet.
I know. My breath smells like chocolate right now because I ate some chocolate during the break. I guess that's what my breath smells like. I don't know.
I realized that when you didn't offer me any, I was quite sad.
Well, here. Well, you can't have any now.
Yeah,
because now we're on camera. You can't chew that, but
I'll get one later.
Well, Whirlwind is the map, and Ryung looks sad.
Ryung looks a little bit stressed, and well, he is down one map already, and this is also true for Effort. Both of them losing their first game, so this is kind of the first losers match that we have, and only one of them will get a winner. The loser will be on 0-2, which is not a happy place to be in. Here we go, map now. Well, Whirlwind, map number 2 for both of these players. Ryung up against Effort at GSL, up and down to Holland.
To the top right in the red, formerly Slayers. Now on a new team, he is.
액션명.
Seems to be a really happy home for him.
Yep, yeah, Axiom players on the other hand had a bit of a trouble in the GSTL preseason, and they said that they felt a bit of pressure. And before we go into details here, let's just introduce the player to the top left. In orange, we have first CJ enters.
CJ 엔투스 에포트.
You know, everybody says Entus wrong, but it's an acceptable pronunciation at this point.
Yeah,
it's actually Intus, you know? That's what I've discovered.
Okay.
But the thing is, everyone's been saying Entus since people have been saying Entus when Idra was Idra, when he was on CJ Entus. Think about that. If a player can be on CJ Entus that everyone says his name wrong and he says Entus wrong, it's probably fine to just call it Entus at this point. I've been thinking about this. Sometimes when I can't sleep at night, I'm like, well, should I just start saying Intus because it's more correct? It sounds weird to me. Are people going to think I'm trying to be weird or clever or something?
Intus sounds a little bit douchey.
It does. It's like, Intus.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that Stefano would say.
Yeah, he would. But not to imply that. I hope you're not trying to imply that Stefano would say things in a douchey way, but...
no, it's just like Stefano, you know how he sometimes really talks weird?
Yeah, sometimes...
not because he's French or anything, I'm not trying to make any jokes here, guys, but sometimes Stefano is a little bit weird.
Well, let's be honest, I mean, he doesn't like any normal music that other people like. No matter where I take him, he doesn't like the music.
Yeah, but that doesn't really count. I mean, you don't like ice cream, so what does it make you?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to ice cream shops all the time and complaining about it, though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I got you there. I'm like, I don't know if I got you or I got Stefano there, but somebody gotten.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that Entus is actually fine.
Yeah, Entus is fine. We've laid down the law here. Exactly. Entus is okay.
What I also think is that, well, I talked about this bit. Ryung said, or not only Ryung, but all the Axiom players said, they have a lot of self-induced pressure. It's not like their coaches are standing there like, if you don't win, you don't get breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like more, they feel they have to prove themselves to their managers, to the team, to the coaches. And this is a lot of self-induced stress that they were talking about at the GSTL preseason match. And I feel this is maybe the reason why Ryung is looking a little bit stressed out, or looked stressed out in the booth. He really wants to show that he's a strong player and wants to shine here. And so far, he couldn't pull it off. He lost the first match and now he's in his second game, and also against a strong player. Effort lost against Creator, but now they both face each other, and whoever loses here will already be 0-2 in the group, which doesn't necessarily kick you into Code A in a 6-player group, but it leaves you in a very bad spot.
Yeah, it's not comfortable. Something to note, we touched on briefly earlier, and we could just talk about these things. These two players are playing very passively, even with the fast 3rd CC Ryung has. One thing to note about Ryung and the Axiom players is that they, like you said, were really keen on making a great showing at GSTL, and they basically failed at it, and now they're in a situation where they're playing a different game. So the Ryung, for example, is practicing, I'm sure, a decent amount of Part of the Swarm with players like MMA, and now he's got to switch gears again.
It's just a weird phase that we are in. You have to practice for Heart of the Swarm, you don't want to fall behind. At the same time, you have tournaments that are still in Wings of Liberty, and this is very important for these players. They want to go into Codes, they want to have a chance here, so they have to play Wings of Liberty too. And then it's always the question, how many foreign tournaments do you have to attend, how many online tournaments do you play Heart of the Swarm, how much do you have to dedicate your time to the new add-on, or how much can you actually play Wings of Liberty. So this is it's very difficult to find the balance here.
Yeah, this is why this week is so pivotal. After this, there is nothing else Wings of Liberty. Once the release comes out, which is like next Tuesday, no, it's a little bit later than that. It's very soon. It's on the 12th.
Yeah.
I don't want to say exactly what date it is because
today's the 4th.
And today is Monday, so it is next Tuesday. I was right after all. It's on my calendar, but that is going to be the moment where everybody just plays Heart of the Swarm forever, and there are a few people playing Wings of Liberty left who are, I don't know, they think the game is better for some weird reason. I don't know who those weird guys are, but there's going to be a few people playing still, maybe new players who just joined Starcraft 2. But otherwise, every other person, casual and pro gamer, is going to be on the new game.
One of the things that I wanted to highlight again are currently the stats for the two players. Effort is actually a bit struggling against Terran, but struggling for Effort means that he only has a 59% win ratio and not 64 or 76, which are his win ratios against Protoss and Zerg. So if you go down his match history, he has, like, in the recent past, a 50-50 ratio against Terran. But is the matchup where he struggles the most. It just shows that he's such a strong player, especially in Pro League, where of course all these Casper players play most of the time. On the other hand, then you have Ryung, who in this matchup is at a 52% win ratio, but has like 5 times or even 6 times the amount of games that Effort has.
He's played against players of higher caliber. He's playing against ESF players who have been playing the game since the beginning.
Yeah.
This scout is denied, by the way. In fact, I don't think he really saw anything of importance.
I don't think so either. He saw one starport, but what does that actually tell him? Yeah, well, with the starport timing, he has maybe a bit of a clue, but it doesn't tell him too much. And the other question is, was he able to click on it in time?
Yeah, was he even able to see it? That's a good question, but if he had, he knows he doesn't have to worry about drops yet. He will soon, and that's where he starts Aspire.
This is a crazy map for ZVT. We've seen, I mean, Aliveness T comes to mind, one of those games that was quite insane. And if you have games that go for such a long distance, you know that usually we start things off with a Muta-Ling, Baneling composition, and then we just head into the late game, where you can make decisions going into Ultralisks. The map is really big, so Broodlords are very, very slow. And you can still go for Broodlord pushes, but Ultralisks are a little bit more often played on this map, just because it's so big that maneuvering with Broodlords is quite difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's also a lot easier for Marines to get underneath them if you don't have your support for whatever reason. If you lose it, or if it's out of position, your Broodlords get caught, you can just easily dart underneath the Marines and kill them all. So, that's one reason why we see Ultras on this map. But the Spire will finish here. And Ryung takes a supply lead. He's got his 3rd command center moved over. With the triple SV production, his saturation is going to be insane.
Yeah, but he only has a supply lead because we'll have a lot of Mutalisks now for Effort. He's really banking up minerals and gas. And he already has the Overlord, so he can go into 11 Mutalisks. The missile turrets are being set up by Ryung though, so he knows what's coming. And with the Overlord that just died, Effort is now supply blocked and cannot go above 11 Mutalisks for a while.
Yeah. This is going to be very annoying for him, especially trying to get units out to defend his newly created hatchery at the 4th base. Hellions leading the charge here. Good split with the Marines, actually. That was excellent.
That was really, really well done. And now he stims in again, takes down even more of those Banelings.
Some cancels have to be used here, and the Mutas are not fighters. They're not really going to be that useful at fighting this army. There are no combat shields, though.
Yeah. Mutalisks are hit-and-run units, especially at the beginning when you don't have armor upgrades. This is what you try to go for. The 3rd base is still exposed. There are no missile turrets. This could be an opening for Effort if Ryung doesn't start missile turrets anytime soon. There we go. Now he starts, maybe a little bit too late already.
Well, these missile turrets are going to buy time. He will kill one, but it's going to cost him a Muta, it looks like.
Oh wow, he actually loses 2 already. 2 Mutalisks are gone.
And gets 1.5 turrets, basically.
This is definitely not worth it. It's not so much about the minerals, especially when you're a Terran player, drop the mules. It's more about the gas. Yeah. For the Zerg player, that is. The Zerg just lost the gas, the Terran player only a few minerals. Right. Can definitely deal with this.
And he even canceled the 2nd turret, so he got most of those minerals back. 5 Overlords on the way for Effort. He's going to finally kind of seal the deal. Won't have to make any more Overlords for a while there. Upgrade-wise, Ryung is very ahead, and he has a strong Bioforce moving across the map now. The moment for Effort while he's trying to hold that 4th and switch into some Infestors to hold this Bio-type play with good upgrades is really scary. And pathing mistake. There's nowhere really for those Lings to run at. You know, the part of the path mistake is because there's a wall here.
It wasn't actually so much as a pathing mistake, it was actually Ryung's brilliance to put him into a corner.
Yeah.
He knew that he was setting up this wall. Effort had no idea. So this was a deliberate act by Ryung to put him into a position where he couldn't escape anymore.
He couldn't run. The depots were in the way. And even if the depots weren't there, there was a second army that was going to kill him anyway.
There was a small Admiral Akbar just talking about, it's a trap!
Yeah. And unfortunately, Green Group not there to save him.
Yeah. Effort had no clue. Nobody there to bail him out.
Well, I gotta say, Effort is looking at a very dangerous situation at his 4th base. He needs to protect it. A drop draws the mutas away into the main. Well, actually, that's the 3rd. But the 4th here is very exposed. He pulls the drones away. The Banelings, though, are ready.
The Banelings are ready, but look how well Ryung controls his units here. Effort takes a small supply lead, but still the Terran player with so much aggression. And he has now those upgrades on +2/+2, whereas the 3rd attack, armor upgrade has already been started. He takes out the space. Ryung is doing a great job here.
Yeah, Hatchery is gone. And Ryung just has his spread of units, his unit coverage, and his positioning is so good, it allows him to use his already decent micro to pick off Banelings, fight in choke points where he has the advantage, where his opponent cannot, like this. Ryung wants to sit at the edge of that choke point. That's something that Effort could maybe clean up, but it's going to be the worst possible way for him to do it, so he decides no, not to go down there.
It's crazy how well Ryung uses the terrain to his advantage at this point. He's on 3 bases now, he's even getting another command center. We have him with the upgrades going into the +3 armor. Sensor tower has been started. Should start the 3rd attack upgrade too, but this is really a good positioner for Ryung, and he just doesn't stop. We saw him earlier already with all those drops, and now he's even going into additional ones. Effort is really trying to catch up with the upgrades, but Ryung's position is a really good one.
Yeah. He starts the attack upgrade now. Probably what happened is he just hit EA really quickly on his engineering base. Didn't have enough gas. The first one, enough gas came in and then he started his armor. It's a common problem, but now he realizes it's really important to realize something like this though in a game, because if you don't know +3 is not on the way until your armor is done, then you're not happy about that. Well, that was really harsh when he did that. Marine. Effort is not paying attention though. There he goes. Nicely done.
Bada bing, bada boom, and bye-bye Marines.
And this actually weakens the push significantly.
Yes, suddenly he doesn't have this much anti anymore. So let's see if this is something that Effort can capitalize on. Can he circle the army of the Terran player and pick off a tank or two? Doesn't really look like it. We have now Ryung going into additional starports, and this is actually dangerous. This is like one of those times in the game against Zerg where a Terran is faced with the choice. Do I go into additional Marauder production to face Ultralists, or do I just prepare for Broodlords? And he blindly prepares for Broodlords now. He needs to identify that there are going to be Ultralists, because if he doesn't, he will have only Marines. And Marines only tickle Ultralists.
Exactly. He's going to have a few rough engagements if that happens. Banelings want to bust here. They will get it, but there's a second bunker and enough turrets here to buy time. That one Baneling makes a big difference, hits a lot of those SCVs down, and Ryung is not stopping the attack. He continues to push into the middle of the map.
Yeah, that was definitely an engagement where Effort lost a lot more resources than he killed, but he definitely occupies Ryung for quite some time. And still a good economy for Effort. He's maxed out again, and he's getting all these upgrades.
And now 100% Ryung knows about the Ultras. We saw him drop literally on top of one. So he starts Tech Labs at home. He will have Marauder production started fairly soon. This is a great position for Effort. Huge flank coming in here. He takes out the siege tanks with the mutas, and where is the rest of Ryung's army?
There are not a lot of units left for Ryung, especially no anti-air. Those few Marines get taken out immediately, but nice targeting by Ryung regardless. Takes down a few additional mutalisks, but he still loses his entire force.
And now his starports are exposed, and if Effort can pick those off, yeah, it doesn't matter now because the Ultralists are obviously not going to care about Vikings, but in a few moments when that career star finishes and the tech switch happens for Effort, that's when Ryung is going to be needing those starports again.
Effort now is in a position where he is once again dictating the game. He can get another expansion, and he should. He has the resources to build it, and there's just no reason not to. Well, the only thing might be that Ryung then has a bit of an easier time to actually drop him, but there comes the hatch as expected. Greater Spire is nearly completed. Banelings see, of course, everything, but blowing up 2 Banelings for 4 Marines, not really what you want to do.
Yeah. Pathogen Gland's coming out. He's going to get some infestors into his army as well, which I like. You very rarely see this transition so smoothly, like Effort is showing us. And those Marines had no chance.
This is a great game now for Effort. Even though Ryung had a very strong mid-game, Effort is dominating this late game. But to be fair, this is still Whirlwind, which is a very tough map for a Eternal player in general.
Yeah. He's adding the Marauders now, but the Greater Spire transition is on the way. Effort, this base, does he see it? Looks like he will see the drop and clean it up. The Starports actually end up being extremely useful for Ryung, who was able to make... Oh, wow.
Again.
Oh, he missed it. Oh, there we go. But Ryung was able to make a lot of medevacs off of those Starports and went back up to 5 after losing all of his. So this helps his Marauder force quite significantly. And he takes a supply again. The thing is, look at the bank for Effort. He just has 1,600 gas in the bank.
It's insane. The gas is so rare for Ryung now. He doesn't have the gas to build anything here. And it's also very annoying for Ryung that he always has to scan because Effort continues to use those Baneling bombs. It's just a nuisance. You know, you're afraid to move out. You're really afraid to move out. There's a good creep spread. And this is also something that Effort never really neglected. Look at the production tab. We have suddenly 6 additional tumors being built.
Well, these Perk Crawlers looks like they're gonna just tank some damage. In fact, he cancels them. That was excellently controlled. This is not a good engagement for Effort. He does not want to go down a choke point next to the siege tanks on the edge.
But now we have Ultralists on the low ground. We have Broodlords being built, armor upgrades being researched.
Spines and spores everywhere with some of those extra banks.
Yeah.
Oh, he cannot actually go up this choke point, but going down it, that's something he's okay with.
I lost a lot of Marines there everywhere. Double Baneling attack.
This is one of these little Ohana choke points where you can set the bomb on the ramp, but here come the Broodlords. Surprise!
That's the best angle that he could have.
Excellent.
Did he just take... It looked for a second as if he took down his own siege tanks there.
It's possible. The Broodling's doing a ton of damage though. Regardless of how they died, the siege tanks are gone now, and he starts to make 6 Vikings at a time, remaxing instantly, but there's no bank for Ryung. Again, the bank for Effort just gets bigger and bigger.
Now here come the additional starports. He's building 3 Vikings at a time and the +1 attack upgrade as said. And now this is just going to be so stressful for Ryung because he knows that he's just living the life on the edge. He has such a few... His income is just not where Effort is. He doesn't have these excess resources that he can put into the production. He has to be really careful. Every single unit that loses here counts.
Yeah, it counts a lot. And Effort can almost just do whatever he wants. He can be extremely extravagant with his units and how he uses them. He could try to sack Banelings to kill a command center. That's something that, when you have this much money, you can absolutely get away with.
The thing is that at this point, Effort is so far ahead in economy, but Ryung is actually going for a lot of minerals right now, and he's trying to build himself this bank so that he can afford additional upgrades and also rebuild his army. Oh, nice hit on those infestors. Look at that. He took down 4 of them already.
Yeah, really good hits here. Marauder's trying to finish the rest of them off. He does get almost all of them, and he's got some ground here. The Mutas, though, they come back with a vengeance.
Effort should trade the Mutalisks now. They don't really serve a purpose anymore. Yes, he can help against drops, but with a bank this big, especially in minerals, what Effort just could do or should do is get additional Spine and Spore Crawlers at his bases, sack the Mutalisks, and just remax with supply that works better in big fights.
I agree. We have Cloak on the way, and I'm going to use our new feature to see where it's coming from. Yeah, it's actually going to be for Banshees. A little bit surprising. I thought we might see Ghosts. I thought I might have missed the Ghost Academy, but it is Banshee Cloak. I wonder what he's going to do with that. He is getting the Raven upgrade. He may be thinking he's researching durable materials. It could be a misclick.
Ryung must be the most unluckiest player ever in Starcraft 2. He actually drops his entire drop on the one Baneling that they have burrowed there. Well, actually, there are a few more, but he's immediately being spotted. There's a big fight in the middle of the map going on, though.
Yeah.
And this, there are a few funnels, not the best ones, but they at least pin down most of the Vikings. Those Ultralists are having a hard time.
Yeah. They couldn't really get through with all the Broodlings in their way. The Queens, though, are so useful here in Effort. With all the bank he has, he remakes 6 Ultras here.
Both of them have a huge bank now. Ryung was really able to close the gap in economy. And now the drop is doing its damage, but no! Oh, wow. Effort, how could you actually not see that?
Well, I suppose he was worried about the drop to the bottom left, which is going to be slowed down quite significantly by these spine crawlers, but he has an angle on the hatchery.
Yeah, and he could take it down, and I actually think he will. There are no units that are being sent down to the bottom left. Effort is much more concerned with taking out the base of Ryung at the top right.
Yeah. There are no Banshees yet, by the way. Cloak finished.
But there are 5 Vikings on the way. And with the 5 Vikings, he can now try to take down those few Corruptors. There are only 4 of them. This is actually so close, both of them being maxed out again, and Ryung has a really good shot at this game.
Yeah, Ryung is going for another attack to the north. He's trying to eliminate his opponent's economy and then trade efficiently to eliminate the bank. But the position here for Effort is really, really good. He's got so much momentum going for him right now with the transfuses, with all the fungals.
Those queens are just so annoying. The queens give Ryung such a hard time. There are still 4 queens available and they transfuse everything. That's the only reason why those Corruptors didn't die instantly.
Uh-oh, Ultra's got up a ramp. What has come? What is happening?
But they're still in a very narrow pathway, and there we go. Once again, Ryung forcing his opponent back. He's only at 130 supply though, and he's completely broke. He couldn't afford shoelaces, let alone the Marauders.
Good scans here on the Infestors, but the Lings and the Broodlings are just helping push him through. Ryung, just, even though he had a bank, it's all gone now. He doesn't have it anymore. His production is being capped. He's losing units as they spawn.
Effort is going at it. He's losing a lot here. Yes, that's true, but still he can afford it. More resources lost for the Terran player. 35,000 resources against 30,000 lost in favor of the Zerg, who is now taking out all the production.
Yeah, Ryung is trapped in his main. We have seen players like Gumiho come back from a situation like this, but this is going to be gnarly. If you look at the only thing he has going for him is the base to the south. That planetary is mining all the minerals that Ryung needs. He's starting Banshees now.
He's starting Banshees, and you know, Banshees actually could help him, but I feel not in this situation anymore.
Not with no ground support, really. That's the problem. Great position on these Marines. He repairs the planetary.
He's trying to take down the planetary. The repair is there, yes, but still with a 70 supply lead, it looks like it's just going to be too much.
Yep.
There's an endless stream of units rally to the top right.
He can't get out of his base. The Banshee will be spotted. It's not even cloaking right now, but there's Queens, Overseers. Bioforce tries to come down. All he needs is 1 fungal, and he gets it. And that is just way too much damage for Ryung to handle. It looks like Effort is going to tie his score here.
GG. Ryung in the up and downs is down 0-2 in the group. Effort, after losing the game to Creator, is now at least on a score of 1-1, saving himself the chance to go to Goddess. Ryung is also not out just yet, but he is in a bad spot.
Yeah, this is going to make him feel very uncomfortable going into the rest of these matches. Eventually, there become situations where if you fall too many matches behind, if I'm not mistaken, in a 6-player group, you have to be 0-3 for this to happen, where it's not up to you anymore whether or not you get out of the group. You have to hope for your opponents making mistakes.
You can still end up in a tie situation, but it's going to be very, very tough. Well, we have the next game coming up, and now our next match is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss, which is usually like... It's like what the Atosis curse was to Code S, the PvP is to Killer. Every single time he faces one, he's losing for some reason. Like, this is the one matchup where he's like the worst, but he has been playing better in it.
He has been playing better in it, but he's up against Creator, someone who mastered PvP in Wings of Liberty in the WCS Korea back in August. Since then, he hasn't looked as dominant in PvP, but he still looks pretty decent. He's on top of it, and he's going to be a very tough PvP opponent for Killer going to the next map here.
Killer was able to take out Creator a couple of times in online tournaments, especially in qualifiers though, and there was a time half a year ago when Killer was going into Protoss versus Protoss. You knew exactly who would win this. Like, I think back then Killer had like a win ratio of like 20% against Protoss. He's much, much better these days. He's a lot better in the Protoss versus Protoss matchup. He was able to take down opponents like JYP. He won against Creator not only once, but actually twice in the past few weeks. So Killer in this matchup is becoming a tough opponent, and Creator is just now looking not too happy. He knows that online he is 0-4 against Killer. Can he pull it off offline? That's the big question now.
Killer's not sure which direction to wear his headset. He has the plugs coming out from both sides.
Ooh, that's tricky.
That is tricky, but the thing is he's using his earbuds, so he just wants to look stylish, because if he wore them backwards it wouldn't matter. Think about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
As long as the GSL logo is not backwards on the other side, which I don't see why it would be.
Well, Creator against Killer is supposed to be a really good Protoss versus Protoss. They are the only two Protoss players in this group, Group B of the Up and Downs, and Creator is already ahead 1-0 in the group. He wants to solidify his position here, and he is definitely a player who can pull this off. Killer, on the other hand, he lost his first game against Senna. His aggression was stopped. He had no chance of going up that ramp on a Neo Planet S. Now he's up against Protoss opponent, and he doesn't want to end up in the same situation as Ryung is right now. He wants to go and equalize the score, go for 1-1 as Effort just did. Or maybe he can pull it off. Maybe Creator is taking a huge lead in the group. We're gonna find out right now here at the GSL Up and Downs Group B with Paul and Wolf.